He avoided her eyes, but his voice cracked. What if I can't stop once I start? What if I lose who I am? Claire cupped his face, forcing him to look at her. You don't lose, Ethan. You gain, Lila. You become more, not less. The words settled deep, but his fear still gnawed. And what if people laugh? What if your family stares? Claire smiled softly. Then let them. You'll still have me. And I'll be sitting right next to you. For a long moment, Lila searched her eyes. Finally, he exhaled, shaky but certain. I'll go. But only if you're there the whole time. Claire's smile widened, equal parts pride and mischief. Deal. And just like that, the countdown to New Year's became something Ethan never expected. Not just the turn of a calendar, but the turning of a page in his life. The day of New Year's Eve arrived like a ticking clock inside Ethan's chest. Every hour that passed was a reminder. He had agreed to go. He had agreed to let Lila step out not just onto a quiet street, but into a living room full of Claire's family. By late afternoon, the apartment was buzzing with Claire's energy. She moved through the rooms like a conductor, orchestrating every detail. We'll leave at 7. Dinner starts at 8. That gives us plenty of time to get you ready. Ethan sat at the edge of the bed, chewing his lip. I still can't believe I said yes. Claire smiled, setting down a makeup kit with a flourish. Believe it. And trust me, you're going to look incredible. She pulled out the powder blue dress, smoothing it across the bedspread like it was sacred. Next came a pair of nude heels, slightly shorter than the red ones from Christmas, chosen for comfort. Then a small box with pearl stud earrings and a delicate bracelet. Ethan's eyes widened. You bought all this for me? For her, Claire corrected gently. For Lila. He swallowed hard, fingers brushing over the earrings. This feels real. It is real, Claire said softly, meeting his eyes. And tonight, you'll see just how real it can be. The transformation began slowly, layer by layer. Claire guided him through shaving, moisturizing, and slipping into stockings. She applied foundation and contour with patient precision, softening his jawline and highlighting his cheekbones. A touch of mascara made his eyes look wider, brighter. Ethan barely recognized the reflection staring back as Claire added a subtle rose tint to his lips. Who is that? He whispered. Claire's smile was proud, almost maternal. That's Lila, finally saying hello. When the wig was styled into loose curls and the dress slipped over his frame, Ethan gasped. He didn't see a man playing dress-up anymore. He saw someone who could sit at a family table, clink glasses, and be seen as who she was, at least for one night. Claire clasped the star necklace back around his neck, the same one from Christmas morning. A little reminder of where this started. Ethan turned side to side in the mirror, heart racing. Claire, I don't know if I can walk out the door like this. She squeezed his hand. You don't have to walk out as Ethan. You just have to walk out as Lila. And Lila can handle this. The words sent a shiver down his spine. He glanced at the clock. 6:45, time was running out. Claire slipped into her own dress, a sleek black number that made her look effortlessly powerful, and grabbed her purse. She turned back, her eyes warm but steady. Are you ready? She asked. Ethan's chest tightened. His voice trembled, but the answer came anyway. Yes. Lila's ready. Together, they stepped into the cold December night, heading toward a dinner that would change everything. The drive to Claire's sister's house was quiet except for the steady hum of the car engine. Ethan Lila sat rigidly in the passenger seat, staring out at the frosty city lights. His hands clutched the hem of the powder blue dress as though it might anchor him to the seat. Claire reached over and gave his knee a gentle squeeze. You're shaking. I feel like I'm marching into a firing squad, he whispered. Claire chuckled softly. Relax. It's just dinner. My sister's family isn't nearly as scary as you think. Lila shot her a look. Easy for you to say. You're not about to walk into a room and have everyone see like this. True, Claire said lightly, but you also underestimate how natural you look. You'll see. When they pulled into the driveway, Lila's heart nearly stopped. The house glowed warmly from inside, laughter spilling faintly through the frosted windows. Normal. Familiar. Terrifying. Claire slipped her hand into his. One step at a time, remember? You've already done harder things than this. Lila drew a shaky breath. One step. Inside, the smell of roasted turkey and cinnamon hit them immediately. Claire's sister, Megan, appeared in the doorway, smiling wide. Claire, you made it. She hugged her sister, then turned toward Lila with curious eyes. This must be. Megan hesitated politely. Lila froze, her throat locking. Claire slid an arm around her waist. This is my friend, Lila. She's been really special to me lately. Megan's face lit up. Well, welcome, Lila. Come in, it's freezing out there. The words struck Lila like a shockwave. Welcome, Lila. Not suspicion. Not judgment. Just simple, effortless acceptance. As they stepped inside, Megan ushered them toward the dining room, where her husband and 2 teenage kids were setting the table. This is Lila, Megan introduced warmly. Claire's friend. Her husband gave a polite nod. The kids barely looked up from their phones before mumbling a hello. Ordinary. Casual. Ethan's mind reeled. He had braced for stares, whispers, maybe even awkward questions. Instead, the family treated him like just another guest. They sat down to dinner, and conversation flowed easily, stories about work, Megan's kids' endless homework, plans for the New Year's countdown on TV. Every so often, Megan would ask Lila a question, where she worked, what hobbies she liked. Claire squeezed his hand under the table whenever he faltered, and somehow, answers slipped out. Not Ethan's answers. Lila's. Halfway through the meal, Megan smiled across the table. That's a beautiful dress, Lila. Powder blue really suits you. Heat rushed to Ethan's face. He stammered, thank you. Claire shot him a proud grin. As dessert was served, Megan leaned closer to Claire and whispered just loud enough for Lila to catch, she's lovely. You two seem really close. Lila nearly choked on her pie. Claire only smiled, giving his hand another squeeze under the table. By the time they stood to leave, Lila's head was spinning. Not from fear, but from something far more dangerous. Hope. The drive home was quiet again, but this time for a different reason. Finally, Ethan broke the silence. They didn't treat me weird. Claire glanced at him, smiling softly. Of course not. They saw you. The real you. And they liked her. Ethan's hands trembled in his lap. Claire, what if I liked her too much? Claire's smile widened. Then maybe it's time to stop asking what if. Back in their apartment, Ethan sank onto the couch, still in the powder blue dress. He hadn't even changed out of it yet. He just sat there, staring blankly at the twinkling Christmas tree lights. Claire kicked off her heels and dropped beside him, her energy calm but attentive. You did it, she said softly. Ethan shook his head slowly. I don't understand. Understand what? That they didn't. He struggled to find the words. They didn't question me. They didn't stare. They didn't even, he cut himself off, his throat tight. They just accepted me. Like I belonged there. Claire smiled knowingly. Because you did belong there. Ethan buried his face in his hands. That's what scares me. Claire tilted her head. Why would belonging scare you? Because, he hesitated, voice trembling. Because I liked it. Too much. The admission sat heavy in the air. He half expected Claire to tease him, but she didn't. Instead, she placed a steady hand on his knee. Of course he liked it, she said gently. You were finally free to breathe. Ethan looked up at her, eyes wide with conflict. But what if that means, what if I'm not who I thought I was? What if Lila isn't just a game, or a side of me? What if she's real? Claire's smile softened. Then you honor her. You don't run from her. You let her grow alongside Ethan instead of burying her. Ethan laughed bitterly, shaking his head. Easy for you to say. You're not the one who has to live with this confusion. I'm not, Claire agreed. But I am the one who loves you, both of you. And I see clearly what you're too scared to admit. Lila isn't a threat. She's a gift. Ethan's breath hitched. He wanted to argue, but deep down he knew Claire was right. He had felt it at the dinner table, the strange, exhilarating sense of peace when Megan had smiled at him like he was simply Lila. No explanations needed. I don't know if I'm strong enough for this, he whispered. Claire leaned closer, her eyes unwavering. You don't have to be strong alone. I'll carry some of it with you. That's what partners do. Silence stretched, filled only by the faint hum of the heater and the soft glow of the lights. Ethan finally exhaled, his shoulders sagging. I don't hate her anymore, he admitted. I don't hate being Lila. Claire smiled, her voice low and proud. That's not nothing. That's everything. For the first time, Ethan didn't rush to peel off the dress. He let it rest against him, a quiet, comforting weight. But as the clock ticked past midnight, one question lingered louder than the rest. If Lila wasn't just a role, who was Ethan becoming? New Year's Day arrived with a strange stillness. Claire slept in, but Ethan, still buzzing from the night before, was up early, staring at himself in the bathroom mirror. He wasn't dressed up. No wig, no makeup, no powder blue dress. Just Ethan, in his worn t-shirt and sweatpants. Yet when he looked at his reflection, something felt off. Like the mirror was missing someone. Like it was missing her. By the time Claire wandered out with messy hair and a coffee mug, Ethan was pacing the living room. You're up early, she yawned. Resolution energy? He stopped pacing. I can't stop thinking about last night. Claire smirked knowingly. Because you crushed it? He gave a nervous laugh. Because I felt normal. Too normal. Like Lila wasn't just playing pretend. Claire sipped her coffee, calm as ever. Maybe that's because she wasn't. Ethan groaned, sinking onto the couch. See, that's what scares me. What if this doesn't stop? What if it doesn't stay as some once-in-a-while thing? Claire sat beside him, setting her mug down. Then it becomes part of your life. Our life. He shook his head quickly. I can't just live as her all the time. I have work. Friends. People who know me as Ethan. Who says it has to be all or nothing? Claire countered gently. Maybe Lila shows up when you want her to. Maybe she's a choice, not a prison. Ethan fell silent, the thoughts sinking deeper than he expected. Over the next few days, the idea quietly tested itself. On January 2nd, while Claire was at work, Ethan found himself opening the closet and touching the blue dress again. Just touching, not wearing. On the 3rd, he tried the stockings under his jeans, hidden but thrilling. By the 5th, he caught himself in the mirror, whispering the name again, Lila. He told himself it was harmless. Just curiosity. Just the echo of a holiday experiment. But one evening, while Claire was cooking dinner, she glanced into the living room and saw him curled up on the couch. Not in Ethan's sweatpants. In a simple skirt she hadn't even given him, something he'd secretly bought online 2 days earlier. She leaned in the doorway, arms crossed, a knowing smile spreading across her face. Well, she teased. Looks like Lila didn't just borrow from my closet this time.